What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and a new rumor around The Mandalorian has Jon Favreau as the one and only protector of Gina Carano on The Mandalorian. We've seen Gina get into a few hairy situations on social media for having her own opinion. Whether or not you agree with that is really not what this video is about. But she has also stood up for liberty several times, especially personal liberties, small businesses during these lockdowns. And that's just not the corporate narrative. That's not the mainstream narrative. And quite frankly, it's very dangerous to have an opinion that is against that, especially in Hollywood. Gina, no doubt, has forfeited opportunities in Hollywood by being outspoken, and I'm sure she's just fine with it. Now, her and I have been working together and trying to get an interview together, but it would appear that the first slot went to her number one simp, Drunk 3PO. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy that he got that interview. It's great for his channel. Now, obviously, I hate him. I'm totally not jealous at all. But now Gina did a couple of interviews, and it's interesting. Via Pirate and Princess, Favreau faces backlash against Gina Carano and Luke Skywalker. Another article here saying, Jon Favreau reportedly stops Disney from firing Mandalorian star Gina Carano. Here's something that probably will shock you. I'm going to look at the Twitter feed of a super powerful Hollywood elite actor, writer, director, Jon Favreau. I'm going to scroll down it, and what you'll notice, shockingly, is it's not full of politics. It's full of Mandalorian and Star Wars hype. Isn't that interesting? Jon Favreau is not screeching about politics nonstop every second of every tweet. Looks like either food-related tweets or Star Wars-related tweets. And I'm all the way back to September. That wasn't like today, like you might see in a lot of Hollywood celebrities. That was all the way back to September. All right, so Jon Favreau, we don't know much about his personal politics, and I love that. Now, this report says the ongoing social media frenzy that surrounds actor and women's MMA fighter Gina Carano has seemed to pick up speed once again as the fire Gina Carano resurfacing on Twitter. The Mandalorian star, who plays ex-mercenary and current New Republic Marshal Cara Dune, has been heavily under fire on social media throughout the bulk of Season 2, but so far has emerged without burns. It seems Gina may have the show creator, Jon Favreau, to thank for that. Pirate and Princess reportedly has insider knowledge that Jon Favreau, unlike the rest of Lucasfilm, is not publicly political. Well, we know that. Nor does he care about what others stand for. Well, I appreciate that too, including Gina Carano's controversial right-wing beliefs. I don't consider Gina to be right-wing. I consider her to be pro-liberty. I think that nowadays, so often it's like people are obsessed with putting people in one of two major slots, especially in the extremes of those slots, and robbing people of any actual individuality and individual thought. This is the collectivism run amok, essentially, right? You want to avoid people that collectivize. I mean, we're all guilty of it here and there, but you don't want that. You want to try and understand as often as you can somebody's individual beliefs. Most people are complex in their beliefs. You might be shocked to find out. Of course, that has not been confirmed. I'm sorry. The problem for all those who dislike Carano based on her worldview and political positions is that Jon Favreau isn't publicly political. And the word on the street is he doesn't care. If Carano was employed in any other part of Lucasfilm, she'd be gone. She would have been let go a long time ago. Of course, that hasn't been confirmed by Disney at this point, and it never would be, I imagine. It wouldn't be highly shocking to hear that there are some at Lucasfilm who do not agree with Gina's political and social beliefs. But when did that become part of the job? I'm not saying it isn't in Hollywood, because it clearly is nowadays, but When did that happen? And I wish I didn't know that Chris Evans is a far left lunatic. I really wish I didn't know that. It does genuinely at times make films harder to enjoy for me. Normally I can separate the two while I'm watching the film, but before and after, it does make me think about how I'm going to spend my money. And Gina recently did an interview here with the Daily Mail while really covering the Federalist interview. Mandalorian star Gina Carano addresses backlash over anti-mask tweets. What's wrong with having a different opinion? That's a very good question. What? Oh, hey, look, they linked Drunk 3PO's video. Gina did not address how the CDC had asked Americans to wear them to help stop the spread as of Wednesday. Okay. All of these, this is so lame. The actress also noted that she is not deterred by critics and stays vocal to prevent them from controlling Twitter and other social media platforms. My whole perspective on this is I've seen a lot of people get bullied off Twitter on both sides. Not really. It's really just on one side. The former MMA fighter explained, I don't like bullying. And if I don't stay present, which I don't even necessarily want to stay present that often, I want to make art. Art is my passion. But if I don't stay present, other people win. Yeah, that's a big reason why I still stick around on Twitter, although when I had a reasonable alternative on Parler, I was totally fine leaving Twitter. But also, you've got to look at yourself, too, and what it does to your own mentality and your own headspace. I understand the feeling of letting them win by leaving Twitter, and then, you go back and you check and you see all the horrible things. When I deactivated my Twitter account, people just made up heinous lies about me within minutes of me deactivating. There's one opportunistic YouTuber who just flat out lied about an interaction we had. And you feel like, oh, I want to go back but ultimately it all erodes. It all wears you down a little bit. It eats at your psyche, and that's just not good for anybody. Now, insisting she won't be silenced, the Texas-born performer pointed out that a lot of people are not bothered by her presence on Twitter, and she chooses to focus on that. I bring the fire out in people. I'm not sure why, she said just weeks after sharing a snarky meme of two people putting masks over their eyes like blindfolds. Well, people get mad at her because, quite honestly, I'm sure she actually does know this, but it's probably smart just to play coy. I wouldn't hold it against her, given she literally has to deal with this for her job. But there is only one opinion allowed in Hollywood, and it is of one certain political side. And also there's this mainstream narrative. It's the same reason, even if there's even a sniff of a Hollywood actor that may be conservative, it's cancellation time. We saw this with Chris Pratt. The guy is a religious man. Being religious does also intersect being conservative at a few certain topics. And people were trying to cancel this dude just because he wore a "Don't Tread on Me" t-shirt. But secretly it's because they thought he was a conservative. That's some sort of terrible thing. It's ridiculous to me that people need this level of echo chamber or, of self-assurance all the time. It really speaks to a weak mind that you don't even want other opinions to exist. And you'll spend all day, screeching on Twitter about it. It's really bizarre. I really do admire and trust and respect, Gina's position of, I'm not going to let people steamroll me on Twitter. I'm not going to, just echo the mainstream narrative on everything, being an independent thinker. I really, really appreciate that about her, and it's probably because of her UFC upbringing, and maybe her parents. Maybe she had good parents. I don't know, but she seems unwilling to bend the knee, and as so often the nail that sticks out is the one that gets hammered down. I wish her the best. I hope Jon Favreau is keeping her around. I hope that her opinions aren't holding her back from getting spin-off shows, but you never know. I mean, this world is fickle, and Hollywood listens to Twitter, even though it doesn't always translate to sales or viewership, which we've seen a million times. Just look at the terrible viewership of shows like Batwoman, which get endless conversation on Twitter, but they fail. Nonetheless, stay tough, Gina. I know you don't need me to say that. And hope to see you. I look forward to seeing you in the next season of The Mandalorian, and hopefully in your own Cara Dune spinoff. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.